Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you're all doing well. Happy Wednesday. My name is Bella Ralston. On behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores, would like to welcome all of you and thank everyone for joining this afternoon, spending your time with us. It means the world to us. So, thank you so much for sharing where everybody is tuning from. We have a lot of friends joining in today, and I'll try to say hello to everyone as fast as I can. Hey, Sarah. Hello. Hi, Courtney. Hey, Donna, Carmen, Elena, what a beautiful name. Hello. Hi, Boss Queen EJ. Hello there. Hi, Cheryl. Friends from California. We have good friends from Texas. Hello, everybody. Good friends from New Jersey. Hello, everyone. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you all so much. Well, thank you for checking in also. We had some crazy storm here in Houston, Texas, and it's been really crazy the last couple of weeks. So I hope that all my friends from Texas also are doing well, and every part of the world. So I hope you're all doing well. Yes, we are doing well. We weren't in the middle of all that, so thank goodness. But it's very unfortunate for everyone who was affected. So anyways, today we are going to be doing something that I truly enjoy and love. I know I say this all the time, but anything about art, anything about creating, it really makes me happy. And you being here today tells me a whole lot that you enjoy creating too. So thank you. Um, all right. Today we're going to be doing a brush lettering and we'll be doing a lot of blending. So I have a mixed media paper in here. And as always, pencil and eraser is a must. The markers that I'll be using today are from Faber-Castell. These are the Goldfaber Aqua markers. These are dual tips. It has a brush and a zero point 0.6. I love using this if you are a bullet journaler, blah, blah. If you do bullet journal, if you do any types of planning or journaling, I think you'll really love this one because you have the brush, that can create thicker stroke. And then you have the zero point 0.6 if you want to use it for like details or just plain writing. It's really good. It is water-based dye inks and they are water soluble. So that's how, which brings me to we're going to do a whole lot of blending and we're going to need some water and a water brush. If you have just a plain brush, that will work as long as you have water in there. The colors that I will be using today, if you don't have the exact colors, please feel free to use whatever colors you have in there. But let's talk about a little bit of the colors. It's so summery. It doesn't match my what I'm wearing, but the theme kind of matches. It's very summer. Um, I'm going to use the titanium violet light, which is it's like gray, very, very light gray. So if you have any type of cold gray, cool gray tone, we're going to need that because that's going to be the base um, of our lettering. And then these are the colors that I will be working with. We have sea blue 248. I have light green 171. And then I pulled out the lavender light. If you don't have a gray, maybe you have like a very, very light purple or like a super light blue, that's going to work also. So I just kind of pulled that just to show you. And then we have a light cobalt green and then water blue. So again, if you don't have all of these, it's okay. If you have just a green and a blue, that might work. It's going to create like a very aqua color, turquoise color. It's going to be really pretty. But before that, let's talk a little bit about brush lettering. I want everyone here to let me know, is this your first time doing any type of brush lettering? I know I've seen many familiar names here. Who is constant? Everyone is day present. But if you are new to brush lettering, please do let me know. Now, okay, so for the newbies and the first timer, hello and welcome. That was me 10, 11 years ago. I did not know how to draw or I didn't know how to do brush lettering. So I am a living proof that with dedication and practice and passion, you can do it. And I think that's the most important thing that I want to leave you today is that I was never an artist. I was a singer. I was never born with a gift of, art, but it is a skill. So, which means that you can put some effort into it and then you're going to get better in time. So, with that being said, brush lettering can be a little frustrating, especially if this is your first. We do have some basic lettering 101 that should be available on Michael's YouTube channel. I really highly suggest that you check it out. But we're going to review. So for everyone that's not new to brush lettering, we're just kind of like do a little bit of review so that everyone can catch up with us as well. I did provide a handout if you want to kind of like trace that. So if you're really new, I think it's really good to have the composition right down there. Um, if you want to start from scratch, then we're going to do that. First things first, notice how I did this with my notebook or my sketchbook. This is the first thing I do when I'm doing any type of brush lettering. Now, I am right handed. So, to all my left handed friends, maybe tilting your sketchbook or your canvas or paper to the right, maybe it will help. Now, I always get asked this question. I'm a left-handed. Do I do the same thing? I mean, I tried doing the lettering with my left hand before I had to learn so that, I can actually teach it. But then again, I don't know really if that's the way you guys write, right? Right. But this is the very first step we're going to do is tilt our canvas to the left if you're a righty like me. Tilt it to a little bit to your left, not too much, just enough. Right? This will help us a lot. Second of all, let's do a little bit of review. Now, we all hold our pens differently. Some hold it, like me, I would hold it this way. This is the way I would hold my pen and my markers. I call it my tripod. This is my tripod here. Notice how my pen or my marker is like laying comfortably in between my pointer finger and my thumb. So this is where it lands, but I'm holding it with my three fingers, my middle, my pointer, and also my thumb. Now, I don't want to hold it too close to here. So almost like this, a little bit, right? So the thing that's important to understand is that our hands, the wrist, it's all about the wrist movement. We don't move our whole arm when we're lettering. Okay. So this should be comfortable like this. You have enough control. You want to have enough space for movement. You're going to notice that my hand will move like this too, especially if you're going to create like big lettering, right? So this is a movement like this. As long as your marker is like secure in here, it's not going to move around. You hold it together like this. Now, if you're holding your marker like this, I've seen some friends, hold it like this or in between their pointer and middle finger. I mean, you can hold it however you want, but the most important thing to remember is that we're not going to hold it like this, not upside down like this, because we're not going to be able to create a thin and thick line because brush lettering is like mimicking the look of the old calligraphy, right? That beautiful thin and thick strokes. Now we'll be able to copy that or recreate that by using the brush pen. Now, brush pen, as you notice, we're going to have a fine tip like this. And then as you can see, it goes thicker, right, in the body. So to create a thin stroke, we're going to have to focus on the tip of the brush. So you can do it like this. But to create a thicker stroke or a wide stroke, notice how I'm going to tilt my hand like this, almost like 45-degree angled. We're going to do it like this. Because if you do it this way, no matter how much pressure you apply, this is the thickness of you're going to get, right? So if you do it this way, it's you're going to ruin your tip. You're going to start fraying the brush tip, and it's really going to make it difficult to create thin strokes. So notice this. Notice how thick my strokes are going to be. And also when I'm trying to do a downstroke, it's almost like I'm twisting my finger, my hands like this. I'm moving the marker around. I don't know if it just became a habit um, or something like I feel like because of the marker, sometimes when you're writing too much with it, you feel like you're using the ink too much, you feel like, okay, maybe I should flip it around so the juice or the ink are fresher. I don't know. Maybe it just became a habit of mine. All right. So we're talking about the thin and thick stroke. This is her thin. Obviously, that's her thick stroke. We talked about how we hold it 45-degree angle. We won't be able to create the thick stroke if we're holding our markers like this. It has to be 45-degree angled. Now, the next question is, when do we use a thin stroke and when do we use a thick stroke? Tatiana is asking, can you do this with a pencil? Um, yes and no. That it, so if you're using an HB pencil, it will be a little difficult depending on the hardness of your pencil. Maybe if you use a 3H, so maybe it'll be softer. And you need something more bold. I love the 3B. I love using that because it's thicker also. But I feel like you can, but you're not going to see the same result as if you're using your brush pen. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go move on. So when do we use a thin stroke and when do we use a thick stroke? Good question, because it's all about these two things, upstroke and downstroke. Upstroke is every single time you would write away from your body. So upstroke, this is where you're going to apply really light pressure. And this is where you're going to concentrate on the tip of your brush. And you're going to apply very light pressure to create that thin stroke. Now, the opposite is your downstroke. Yes, you're right. This is where you're going to apply a little bit of pressure and use the body of the pen to create a thick stroke. So when I was just first starting to practice lettering, I would always repeat it to myself, upstroke light, downstroke heavy, upstroke light, downstroke heavy, because um, everything is new to me. It's like, when do I apply that? When do I apply that? So when you write away from you, light, right? Light pressure. When you're writing towards your body, towards you, heavy pressure. So light, heavy, light, heavy. So that's it. So if you would watch the basic lettering 101, we kind of talked about the basic strokes to create the letters. It's really a lot. Unfortunately, we have a very limited time of an hour, and I want to get started with our making waves. So that video will really help to all my newbies in here, but to everyone that's here practicing their brush lettering, I'm so proud of you. Let's do this. All right, making waves. Now, when it comes to lettering, my best friend is my pencil because I don't want to think about my thin and thick, even though I have been doing this for a long time. Sometimes, I have to, oh my gosh, I didn't go light enough here. So I don't want to worry about the composition. I want to get the composition just, I want it done. And then I have to worry about my brush lettering. So when we get the composition done with the pencil, that's it. We don't have to worry about the placement of the letters and, where each letter go, especially if we're going to create like a longer quote. But this one, we have two words, making waves. So we're good. And I want to make this a little bigger so you guys can see. Again, if you have the handout, you can start tracing that if you want. But if you're not, then let's get started. We have our pencil in here. Okay. Hey, that's a good question. Every time I would do my light stroke, I believe that I still hold it just the same way. So I'm going to show just a few basic sample strokes so you guys can just see. All right. So letter A, heavy, and then light. I never really change the way I hold my marker. I only just change the pressure. So now going down, heavy, and then light again. Does that make sense? Letter B, heavy, and then light, like that. So light, heavy, light. So I'm not really changing the way, it's still 45-degree angled, And I'm still holding it in the same spot, almost like right in the middle. Because I think this is the most important here because this one is my control. Kind of like I know it's not going to jiggle. I know it's not going to move around, so it's locked in position when it's here in my tripod. So I'm going to do letter E like this, letter F, right? So not changing the position, just almost right in the middle and still the same 45-degree angled. Thank you so very much. All right, now let's do our making waves. I'm going to start with our pencil. And it's really easy. We have two words, so I want to make sure just I'm right in the middle. All right. So I'm going to do my letter M differently. One thing that I've learned while practicing is that I was copying a whole lot because, I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just trying to copy from the books, from worksheets, from online classes, just like this one. But the thing that I think didn't work for me is that because I was writing so unnaturally, because it's not the way I would normally write my letter M. So, my advice is that if you do your letter M some sort of way, I say do it like that, but just focus on the amount of pressure. So, if you write your letter M this way, then write it this way. If you've been writing it this way, then do it like that. Okay. So I think that's what's going to help. So it feels more natural because you're doing something unnatural already by applying the pressure. So if you're going to, change the letter so much, then you're just adding more pressure to yourself. I say practice the usual way you write your letters first, and that you can get it out of the way. And then after that, if you feel like, okay, I've got the hang of this light, heavy, then now you can start playing around and recreate other letters just, to make it even look prettier. All right. So letter M. And I think I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to write my letter M just like this. Again, I'm not worrying about my pressure in here because I don't have to. Now, this style of lettering is called bounce lettering because my letters are not uniform. I don't have the same height and I don't have the same width of the letters. I kind of like it to just kind of flow. And it's like bounce because it almost looks like it's bouncing, right? So there's like a wave to it. So I have my letters, some are smaller than the others, some are larger, and that's just the style that I have developed along, after many years of practicing. So now we have letter K, and I feel like I'm really not in the middle at this point because I still have letter G. Now we're going to do letter N. I'm going to go zoom in just so, oops, I zoomed out just so you can see better. Like that. Making. Now I know I want to set my letter W here. So is it really hard to see? I don't want to make it too dark because I don't. There you go. That might be better. Making, now letter W. Like that. Notice also that when I'm doing my letters, one thing that's really important is because this is not handwriting. You're not doing a script lettering. So notice how when I'm doing my letters, it's really important to remember that you are drawing your letters at this point. So you can always lift up your pens or your pencils. That's one thing that I have seen many others do, is that they're trying to do brush lettering, but they're trying to write it in script. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to write? So let's say waves. They would write it like this way. That's not the correct way. When we're doing brush lettering, we are drawing our letters. So make it a point to one stroke at a time. That's part of my letter W. And I'm going to add the second part, just like that. I'll do my letter A, and I pause in there too. Okay, now this one is the connecting. I can do that. Letter S, just like that. So please feel free to kind of lift your brush pens. Don't worry about writing it in one stroke because that's not the way to do it. We're going to do it one stroke at a time or one letter at a time if you want. So now my A, my letter V, letter E, my letter S, just like that. Now, this part right here is where I would like to look at everything, my sketch. I feel like, I really don't feel like my W is in the right way because notice how everything is kind of like tilted to the right and my letter W is like standing straight. So that's one thing with bounce lettering, even though our letters are like almost freestyle. Okay, let's call it freestyle. You're freestyling, but still you want it to look symmetrical still. I can't even use that word. You're just going to have to make sure that everything, if it's a little tilted to the right, then every letter should be a little tilted to the right. So I'm going to redo my W, and it's really hard to kind of like, because my mic is on the way and I can't really see. So I'm going to go tilt this a little bit. And I don't even know if I made any change. I feel like I just followed the sketch that I created. I think it's good. All right. Okay. Now that we have our sketch in here, I feel like, okay, can I adjust anything? I feel like I'm good because I want to add a little bit of bubble in here later, some bubbles. So I'm good with the sketch. The reason why I'm using an HB pencil is because when I use kind of like a darker pencil, it's really hard to remove the sketch, the graphite. So I apologize if you had a little bit of hard time. Now, counter, um, we're going to lighten our sketch even more. And this is where the light gray or the light blue is going to come in because that is the base of our lettering. Now, I have a wonderful news for everyone here. If you're having some issues with the heavy and thin strokes, the light pressure and heavy pressure, always remember that you don't have to get it right the very first time because there's such a thing that's called faux lettering. Okay. So faux lettering just means, or faux brush lettering only means like if you feel like you cannot see a difference from your thin and thick, you can always come back in and add a little bit more weight to your letters or to your strokes. You can always come back in and say, this one is not thick enough. Then, you can add a little bit of stroke in there to make it thicker. My suggestion, if you want to do the faux lettering, is that try not to go too thick because it's easier to add thickness than to remove that, so try to make light, try to letter as light as you can. And then we can add thickness later on. So I'm going to start. This is my titanium violet light. Again, if you have a very light gray, you can use that, or a light blue. So I'm going to start with letter M, and I'm going to do this one stroke. You're going to notice here because I want to make sure that I'm not in a hurry. So another tip is that when you have your sketch ready, like what I said, your composition is already done, you have it there, then you don't have to worry about so much because you can pause in the middle of it, like what I did right here. Then I'm going to focus on my light pressure or my thin stroke. And then I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to go down. See, so you don't have to go do one word at a time. No, just one stroke at a time. We got this. Now we're going to go light, as light as we can so we can create a thin stroke, and then heavy this time around, right? Light, and then heavy, and then go up. Like that. I hope I can cover all those sketches up later. Oh, the eraser. I really love this eraser. It's my favorite. It is the kneadable eraser from Faber-Castell because it's kind of like a squishy that you can do that. And then I just roll it and I don't have any eraser suds. I love it. Eraser suds are just my nightmare because I can erase a whole lot. And so it's my desk turns into one big mess, right? So go light, thick, and then like this. Hi, the video, the replay is going to be available tomorrow after 24 hours. This should be available at Michael's YouTube channel. So if there are some things that, you feel like, what did she say when she talked about like this? Then you can come back and watch it again. And I love doing that because you can pause, kind of like practice, and then play it again. So, right. I feel like I want to copy the way I did the letter M here. So I'm going to add a little bit of thick stroke here as well, kind of like copying this one. And then go up and pressure. I'm going to pause in there and light, then heavy, go light, go up. Again, remember, we can add some thickness again later on. If you feel like, oh, you know what, I feel like I didn't go heavy enough, we can just adjust those later. So let's just get the base done. Now we can adjust later. Now, after this, we have another chance to kind of like fix some of the sketches that we want to erase. Now, of course, the areas where we lay down the markers already, I don't think we can erase that anymore. So, but some areas that we can clean up, we can definitely clean up some areas. But don't worry, the colors are going to cover those up. See, I don't have any eraser suds. I love it. Okay. Here's our making waves. Here's our water brush. This is a water brush from Faber-Castell, but then again, whichever brand you have in there, that will work. Now, this part right here is going to take a lot of patience, my friend, because we see all these beautiful lettering online on Pinterest, Instagram, everywhere, YouTube, and we see the beautiful blending, but everything is like kind of like hyper speed, right? The video, blah, 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 blah. Even I do the same thing, but it takes a long time. So I'm going to stop talking because it's going to take a while to blend. Now, the key to this one is to add the colors a little bit at a time. So I want to you do my light green, I want my sea blue, and then my light cobalt. And I'm going to start with one color at a time. So I'm going to start with my letter M and I'm going to apply it. Now remember, these are water soluble, so we can blend this with water, but then I cannot guarantee how quickly the inks are going to dry for you, because different paper will give you different results. So just be mindful of that. So I'm going to do that is the sea blue. And then I'm going to do my green. Notice how I have distance in between the colors, right? Because we're going to use water to blend all those colors in a little bit. Just like this. So just little at a time. If you want to have, areas that more of this color, then you can add more of that color in there like that. You can add a little bit of that here and then stretch it out. I feel like that's good enough. Just like that. That's next? Sometimes I make mistake. I'm like, which one did I use last? But I feel like it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Those are the moments where like, you know what? Failed, didn't work. All right, and then green over here. Okay, I'm going to work on this first before my ink dries. Now I'm going to have my water brush. There's a little bit of water in there. My advice is to have a paper towel because sometimes, there are times where you would pick up a little bit more water than you want. So have a paper towel, have a baby wipes in here, and I kind of wipe these areas because sometimes I pick up too much water and then drop a little bit of water in there. So if you have a paper towel, it's better because it can absorb it. All right, now I want to zoom this in a bit more so you guys can see it. We're going to start blending. Oh, see, that's a little bit too much water already. So I'm just going to blend. Why is this too much water in here? So we're going to blend the two colors together, just like that. And then I'll go in here and blend this right here. Go back in here. Just kind of move it around until the two colors meet, just like that. It's probably much better to use kind of like a very small round brush, maybe a number 2, especially if you didn't write big enough, because sometimes you get puddles of water and it just gets frustrating. I feel like some parts of our sketch is not going to get covered, but it's okay. We're going to be okay. So notice I'm just dabbing a little bit of that water because the water brush, it has a continuous water flow, but sometimes I press on it. I probably should just concentrate holding it here, but I don't know. I feel like I have better control because I have really heavy hands. If I hold it here, I feel like I'm going to apply too much pressure, more than I want. So naturally heavy. So I'm just going slow. Now, if you're not using a water brush and you're just using a regular brush, this might take a bit longer because you're going to have to keep kind of like dipping, right? So you're going to have to keep dipping your brush in there to get water. So there's both. It's really like there's pros and cons to both. You can get puddle of water or, you keep dipping and getting more water. So I don't know. I feel like we never win. Okay, I'm going to dip in there and start blending these two colors. But it's so pretty. All right. Now you can blend these markers without the water brush. You can do that as well, but I feel like the water makes it easier to blend, of course. And you're also getting that watercolor effect. If we're just going to use marker to marker, I feel like you get like a lot of concentration of the ink. But if that's the look hereafter, then by all means, go for it. Sometimes we want that super saturated colors, like a lot of colors. I want a lot of colors in here. Then don't blend it with water. Just kind of like do this, what we're doing right now, and let the two colors meet. I'm going to go do it here just so you can see. We have a little bit. So you can just do it like that. And that's okay too. You don't have to blend it with water. But the effect that I am really looking for right now is that watercolor blended look. And then if you want to do that still, you can add a bit water, kind of like lift up some of the colors, like what I'm doing right now. I want to bring down some of that cobalt, bring it here, just like that. Bring this together. See what I was talking about, patience? We need a lot of patience here. This looks like the fun part. Thanks, Donna. Sometimes people are like, oh, no, that's too boring. I don't really want to watch that. But honestly, this is my favorite part right here. Sketching is not so much because I get stressed with, composition, composing letters and all that. And then, of course, when you're about to do the thick and heavy and thick and heavy, it's like, ugh. But when I'm blending the colors, there's just something about seeing the colors, the two colors meet and blend. It's just so beautiful. I really love this part right here. Some people might think that's boring. I just wanted to learn how to do the brush lettering. Yeah, but this is your next step is making it pretty with more gradients and colors blended. And then after when you're done with this, you can frame it or, it's so pretty. Gift it to friends. I have gifted so much personalized hand lettering, like names, um, for graduates, for my kids' teachers. There's just so much. And then eventually, everything that you've learned analog, you can do that digitally also because it's the same thing. If you have like an iPad that you want to do brush lettering, um, you can do this. It's the same principle. You have to apply a little bit of pressure, especially with these new iPads now. It's such there's amazing pressure sensitivity in the pen. It's almost like feels like you're using the real thing. All right, I'm gonna go blend this. Start blend. Oops. Slowly. And then when everything is like blended and so pretty, you're like, my problem with me sometimes is knowing when to stop, kind of like blending the colors. Like, okay, let's move this one here. So pretty. So aside from brush lettering, what is your favorite craft project? Maybe drawing, watercolors, painting. I love working with water soluble mediums. I mean I love acrylic, but it's a different ball game. Using an acrylic. Should probably maybe when I turn 45, maybe I'm gonna have to learn it. For now, I'm gonna stick with watercolors and water medium. Ooh, look at that. I made a mess. We can clean that up later with by using some water, but I don't want to mess with it right now because I don't want to make more mess. I have done that before many, many times, kind of like trying to fix something and it just ends up making more mess. Like, ugh. Cross stitch. I used to do cross stitch before. I feel like my eyes uh I have to kind of like look at it like this close to do cross stitch again. Art in general, I love that. Harder as you get older. I know. Grace said Christy said anything with fabric. Botanical flowers with mono pens. Yes. Like those drawings, like almost like technical drawings. It's so beautiful every time I see one. I love it. I'm gonna add this. I love painting and sketching. Yes. Arm knitting. Annabella, how do you do arm knitting? Wow. I don't think I've woodworking. Ooh. Do you work with laser and stuff or what is I have to look at lathing? Is that how you pronounce it? That sounds like a fun thing. I mean, I've only worked with wood when I was working with my laser machine. And so chalk pencils, that's fun. I'm going to have to work a little bit faster. I won't be able to finish this. Thick yarn and your arms are the needles. Whoa, that is so cool. I got to try that. But I'm so lazy. I feel like I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I feel like I'm going to be so tired. Card making, yes, card making here too. It's my favorite. Aside from doing my journals and my scrapbook, I really love card making. I have so much cards that I need to send out to friends. I mean, I can like have my own shop here with all my handmade cards, but I love it so much. I have to try, you know what? I really gotta try that what is it again? Arm knitting. I feel like I have to. I'm gonna send you guys an update how it's working for me. My daughter is turning 14 this weekend, and you know, teenagers, I feel like we need to get them involved in something. So that something might be that something we can try together. I don't know how well we're gonna do, but we're gonna try. I'm gonna run to Michael's and get some yarn. So it has to be the thicker yarns, huh? Okay, gotta try that one. Homemade gifts, cards are the best. I mean, really, every time, my kids would ask me, what would you like for Mother's Day? I want a card. I want a card you made. I don't care how, you know, what it looks like, but it's just so special. It's like they just so means more, handmade. This one, if you've noticed, I feel like I have gotten lazy because I have like a large areas of just the green and the blue because our time is so limited. An hour. And I've only picked two words because I know it's going to take us a little bit and we're still not going to be able to finish it. I'm going to work fast. My mom is the same. Why? I don't, it's just special. It's special when it's like something you guys make for us, and I think my mom's still the same way when I try to make her something. Can never be too young or too old. Oops, wrong color. I think I have to move it here. These colors are cool tones. It's like, ugh, I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach. Do you guys have any summer plans? Some out of town, out of the country? We have some friends from Florida here. So to everyone that's like, maybe you're all familiar with it, but my favorite beach, no, it's not Hawaii. More than Hawaii, I think. But of course, in Hawaii, it's really the energy, with the palm trees and the mountains, all of that combined. It's the whole aloha energy in Hawaii. It's very different. But just here, in the mainland, my favorite beach is Destin. So it's the 30A in Florida is paradise. I love it there. It's our favorite place to visit. The sand is so white, it is so soft. It's like powder. So pretty. Oh, Jen! Oh my goodness, Jen. I'm I'm jealous now. We almost moved there to, is it Navarre Beach, I think? Ah, we love the 30A. We love that area there. We have so much photos of my kids. It's in my scrapbook, a lot of it. A lot of pictures taken in Destin. Okaloosa. Am I pronouncing it correctly? It's so pretty there. Maybe we'll come see you this summer. Maybe. As much as I plan, you guys would think that we plan our summer vacation, but I'm more of a last minute, very compulsive, let's go now person. So my kids are like, what now? You know, so who knows? Maybe we'll surprise them and go to Destin this summer. It's lovely there. Navarre is so close to, yeah, yeah. The Grayton Beach as well. Oh my goodness, I love it. Super, super. I think we're going to finish it anyways. Look at this. So, kind of like what I was talking about earlier when adding feel like, oh, I don't have enough thickness and all that. While doing this, of course, we are almost done now, but when you're adding your colors to blend, you can always make your some parts of your letters much thicker if you feel like you didn't apply enough um, pressure to create those strokes, then this is your chance to kind of like add a little bit more thickness to it um, before you blend it with water, of course. So you can start adding more thickness, just like that, for example. And then you can manipulate it and then um, add more width to your letters. And then that's it. Then you have that you can have the distinction from your thin and your thick lines because I understand. Um, I personally have heavy hands, so light stroke is something that I is a challenge for me until now. If you believe it or not, it is a challenge. I have to kind of like really mentally think about, okay, I need to go light, but eventually you're going to build a muscle memory. And muscle memory only happens when you practice and practice and practice, and like what I always say, practice doesn't make it perfect, practice makes it better, right? Because there's always some things that you can still improve on. Um, and I think focus on that, um, whichever thing that you feel like is more of a challenge. For me, the upstroke. So guess what? I practice more of my upstroke and I become more um, present when I'm doing the upstrokes. I feel like I have to be intentional about the stroke that I am creating because I know, okay, I have heavy hands. I have to pay attention and not just kind of like write. So just be intentional and then keep practicing it even more. So if upstroke is something that you need to work on, then practice that. Or the if it's the thick stroke, then you focus on that as well. But the key is, you're right, practice. It is the key. Even with blending like this, once I stop paying attention, for example, I'm talking a lot like this. I feel like I'm just not intentional with my stroke. So I feel like I'm just kind of like pushing my marker, and then I would end up with some blobs of water. And I was like, oh, I just ruined the whole art just because I wasn't paying attention. So just be mindful. And I think this is what lettering does to me, is that the mindfulness of that, being here, being present, doing this. All right. So next one, I know it's almost time, but bear with me. I really want to create some bubbles in here. Some parts of it are still wet, but these markers, I'm just going to use the same color. So it might look different. To create some bubbles, I'm going to just draw circles like this, like that. And I'm going to play around with the size. Some are larger. I'm going to do it by 3. And I'm going to take my water brush and I'm just going to start blending from the middle part, and then just kind of like pushing the colors. See, when water touch that, you're pulling some of that dye ink and just kind of like blend. You don't want to add too much water, just a little bit. And again, I'm going to concentrate, start in the middle, and then just kind of pull those ink right there and just start blending them. I wanted to use light blue, but I think with this one, it's much easier for you to see. Start in the middle and just kind of pull all the colors just like that. There. Now to finish this up, we can use another color. This is a lavender light. I know it's going to go well with the colors that we used in here. But drop shadow is always the last thing I add in my lettering. Now, what you can do is you can also use a very fine point tip in here, like maybe a 0.1, a 0.3, a 0.5, and kind of like create the outline of each letter. I mean, you can do that if that's the look you're looking for. Again, with me, I really like this look right here. I love the watercolor. I don't want to have any harsh black colors in here, black tones. So I'm just sticking with these colors. So I'm going to use the lavender light. If you don't have this, a gray, a very light gray is, great to use as well. To add your drop shadow, you have to choose one part only. It's either you add your drop shadow to the left, you add your drop shadow to the right, or the bottom of each letter, but never um, it's one or the other. So I love adding it. I always kind of like envision my light source coming in from the top right. For some reason, I just love adding it to my left. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to add everything to the left side of each stroke. So we'll start here. Be careful if some of it are still wet, because you're going to end up with a smudge like what I did there. So I'm going to start. Maybe this is a little too dark, but you know what? We're going to own it. Just like that. I feel like it's too dark. We're going to use a gray just so you can see. I have this. Nope, this is the violet, titanium violet, what we use in the, just so you can see the difference when it's just a light gray. I mean, you can barely see it probably, but it looks more like a shadow when you use like a very light gray to it. Just like that. So everything is to the left side, right? Notice how everything is just to the left of each stroke. This one, where's the left? This is the left part. This is the left part. So just one side. All right. So thank you all so much for joining this class. I hope, I love teaching brush lettering, but I know how intimidating it can be sometimes. And I feel like I really want my students to leave the class learning something. And sometimes I feel like brush lettering is something that you don't really leave the class like an expert already, or you feel like, I didn't get it, or it's just so frustrating. So I hope that was not the case. I hope you still enjoy the class, because brush lettering takes a little bit, um, takes a lot of practice, not a little bit. It takes a lot of practice, but I hope you enjoy this. I hope you keep practicing. If you have any questions that I was not able to answer today, you can always reach out to me through social media. It's at Mommy Lay. If you have any questions at all, or just want to say hi and stay connected, I would love that. In behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores, we thank you all for being here this afternoon, and I hope you'll join us again next week. My last class for this month. I hope to see you again, same time, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. As always, stay creative and stay happy. Thank you all. Thank you very much.